Good morning. I'm late this morning, as you could tell. Good morning. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans. A view this morning. Well, what a night that was last night, wasn't it? It was. Let's not beat about the bush. Let's talk about the fan that went viral. Yes, Celtic fan went viral last night. And see if you're going to if you're going to go viral, don't be running about with a Nokia 32 phone. Just saying. I'm all for a bit of banter and stuff, but I was more embarrassed. I'll be honest. I was more embarrassed with the quality of the phone that the guy had. Um, I'm sure he'll be full of regrets this morning because he is everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And let's even get him on the channel. Tell me your thoughts about the fan that called Michael Nicholson a shite bag. Yeah, he called him a shite bag. Of all the things that you could have called Michael Nicholson with your Nokia 3210. Shite bag would be maybe the last thing that I'd be calling him. But anyway, this dude did go viral because he's seen a very tipsy Michael Nicholson, very jovial. We won a game in Europe. We did win the game. Well, we didn't win the game in Europe. We got a draw, 2-2 draw. But it felt like it was weird because it felt like a bit of a defeat, but it felt like a win at the same time because for playing so long in the game, it felt like it was weird because it playing so long in the game with with without Reo Hatate. Now some people say, we Mitch, I've been on it all night. Some people say that look, you play the best part of 90 minutes without Reo Hatate anyway. So was he really any loss? Well, yes, he was, because Martin O'Neill had to revert to six at the back in the second half. I think that Martin O'Neill, in hindsight, and the rest of the backroom staff would say that those changes in tactics, you can understand why they tried to make the change of tactics, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all. You're always going to end up shipping goals when you're sitting and in a back six. That's a shout out to everyone in Scottish football to show you it doesn't work. I mean, some teams in Scottish football they play that against Celtic for 90 minutes and they get away with it, but they still get beat. Celtic tried it in Europe. We'd shipped 2 goals. And it's funny when we reverted back to a more offensive style of play. Celtic looked as if they were more in the game slightly. The Celtic Chiefs shouldn't have time to be going to bars in Italy. He should be getting Martin O'Neill players. And I think this was coming back from the stadium, mate. I don't think he was actually going to bars. I think that when you get, it's all the free drink that they get before the game, uh, half time after the game. I think that's enough to get anybody tipsy. I know that it would certainly push me over the edge. But I get what you're saying. He should be. Listen, it's a game night. All business stops when it's game nights. It's just as simple as that. It's the way that football is. Unfortunately, yes, they should be working on deals, but you can't work on deals if the teams that you're working on, trying to get players from, are also in Europe. People say that they want big players from big clubs, and that's the reality of the situation, I'm afraid. But anyway, I'm not going to go. Um, I'm not going to slag off either of these two too much because, quite frankly, I thought that it was an embarrassment on both halves. I'm all for giving Nicholson stick, but come on, Michael, getting filmed at a game pished when you're not talking to players. And then I feel for the guy because the guy's going to get ripped to death for a long time, and it wouldn't be surprised if he gets banned from Celtic Park. That's the way that Celtic play the game. But anyway, let's talk about the fact that Celtic have put themselves in a fantastic position. Although when you look at the table, it was we got lucky last night. We are still in 24th position, which means it is all in our hands. 24th position, There are teams that jumped above us last night by getting wins. It just shows you how important that win would have been last night. I mean, Bologna find themselves in 15th in the table. I'm going to take Nicholson down. I can't stand the guy. And I'll jump back onto this screen. No. Let me take that one down. Let me take that one down. You can tell I slept in this morning. Where is it? Let's change the app. Oh. Now, why did that just do that? There we go. Where's it gone? Hey, it's just came back with that one. I'm gonna have to sort that out later. See, this is what happens when you have a lie in the morning. But anyway, let's jump onto the Europa League table. That'll be a way easier to do things. When you look at the Europa League table this morning, Midtjylland, they got a draw last night by the looks of it. Aston Villa have jumped up into second place. Um, Fair play to them. Some cracking teams in that top eight with the automatic qualification. They'll be thinking that their places are safe. Well, some of them maybe not thinking that. I mean, I think that Midtjylland, what a turnaround it would be if they didn't automatically qualify after running so far at the top of the league. But Celtic at 1 point found themselves in 19th position, now taken up by Panathinaikos. It just shows you if we'd got that win, if we had held on, it would have made it so much easier. The 10 points, I did say that you were going to need a minimum of 10 points to qualify. And it could be the case that 10 points in goal difference, you may not qualify. Celtic is sitting on a goal difference of -4. The damage was done in the earlier games. I fully understand that. If goals come into it now at this stage, there's every chance that Celtic could finish on 10 points. Well, they're not going to finish on 10 points because you only get 1 point for a draw. If we finish on 11 points, will that be enough to secure us into the playoff position? That is the big question. But we'll find out next Thursday. There's only 1 week to go until the next game in Europe. Now, with that being said, who could we potentially get in the European game? We'll get on to Hearts in a minute because I know it's all about. I know we said that we can't get 10 points. We would get 9 points, but if we got a draw, but we needed a minimum of 10 points. Anyway, Celtic in Europe. Who can we get in the playoff if we win at home? And I think that we should win at home. When you look at the Europa League, Utrecht obviously got beat again. They're now down in 34th position. Utrecht. So you're going to take that as a Celtic win at home. I would expect Martin O'Neill to banish the memory of Reo Hatate against it. And we'll get to the whole question of Reo Hatate. I mean, what does it say for Reo Hatate going forward? Obviously, can't play in the last game. Will Celtic try and get the cards overturned? There's not really much use, is there? But anyway, 73-year-old back in Europe, 3-1 win in Rotterdam. We were unlucky last night. If Reo Hatate had not gotten sent off, I think that we could have got another 3 points. Utrecht coming to town on a week, a Celtic win, and Celtic will reach the playoffs, I reckon. We would go into it. Now, if we were only pick up a point, it would take Celtic. No, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm looking at the teams that we might play. I mean, there's still teams that could leapfrog us. Oh, I'll tell you one thing, it's going to be nail biting. Absolutely. The watch along next week will be nail biting. It's a must win. It's a must win game. But anyway, right, that's enough about that. It's enough about that. Let's talk about Reo Hatate. Um, Reo Hatate last night got sent off for Celtic, and it was a game changer. Game, complete game changer. Martin O'Neill pulled back Yang, who was taken off in the game, pulled back Dyson Maeda to defend as well for big parts of the game. And I think that it completely changed, although we had to go defensive, but it allowed nobody can leapfrog us if we win. This is true, but do you know, if we get a draw at home, I don't think we'll get a draw. I think we'll win. Let's just go with the fact that we'll get the win. But anyway, let's check this. Something just flashed up. No, it's just an. Nah, it's just nah. That's not going to happen. No chance, mate. Let me just check. There is a story of a player that was going to thinking about. Nah, Celtic don't need another loan player. Anyway, right. Hatate, yeah. Where do we go with Hatate now? Because Hatate goes missing from the majority of the game. The fact that he was tracking back, and you could see that the second booking, although he kind of clipped the boy's heel, it was a silly mistake by Reo Hatate. But at that level, I think it's happened more often than not with Hatate that he just doesn't perform in a European context. Listen, well, we're playing Celtic. Celtic were playing decent football before Hatate got sent off. Would it have made much difference if he had stayed on? Don't know. When it comes to um, transfers, Celtic still need to dip into the transfer market. I don't know if it doesn't look like we're going to get anyone else in before the Hearts game. Obviously, Michael Nicholson was at the game last night, half pissed with all the free bevy at the ground. And when you look at the players that we still need in, I think that we need. I still think we need 5 players in just to get us stronger. One striker is not good enough. If it's only taken us 12 months to get a striker in, but it has to be said that Michael Nicholson needs to get his finger out today. He would have travelled back with the team last night, I believe. And then the cameras just putting it. Makes a difference for the better manager. If we had Nancy, would have been beaten. Yeah, of course we would have been beaten. But there's no point in looking. You know, I think that we might have done better under Brendan Rodgers as well. But it's all in the past. Let's not talk about Wilfred Nancy. It's a stain on our season, and it's a stain that we're not going to get over with. Right, I'm going to jump into the comments this morning because I'm not hanging about long this morning. I've got stuff that I need to do today. Makes a difference with a better manager, says Will Clark. Hatate is a liability. Give me your thoughts on Hatate in the comment section, because Hatate, he cost us the game last night. I don't care what anybody says. Don't care what Martin O'Neill says. He goes missing in games. His head goes down. It was a silly clip of the heel. The player goes down thinking he's been shot by a sniper. It is what it is in the big games, isn't it? But we all know that the Italians play like that. And Reo Hatate's been at Celtic now for long enough to know, you know, and you could say he was unlucky. You know, was it a booking? Yes, when you clip someone's heel and it causes them to trip, it's a booking. So, but he does do it in most games. He does stuff. Hatate tends to be brilliant and then god awful. Mostly the latter for too long. Yeah, there's a lot of people saying good morning to Stephen Johnson. New striker gets injured. We're back to less than square one. let's hope that the new striker won't get injured, because I think that the sun's just came out and shining in my face now. I think going forward, we still need another striker, and if we just get one striker in, it's an awful window. I mean, the fact that we're on the 23rd of the month, and all we've brought in two players that obviously couldn't have an effect in Europe. Martin O'Neill isn't really overly enamoured with the thought of more European football, but if it happens, there are Celtic fans who will believe that Martin O'Neill could do something completely not impossible. But when you look at the teams that are currently in the playoff positions, you've got Porto in ninth. Let me just change this. So you have Porto in ninth, Genk, and so you've got 1, 2, 3. If it was to stay the same, there's every chance that Celtic could get I said this before the game last night. There's every chance that Celtic could get Nottingham Forest in the playoffs. I did say it before the game last night. I'm telling you, if you're a betting man and going into the last game, say Nottingham Forest win theirs, they jump up 3 spaces. Celtic jump up. Oh, can they? Oh, it's going to be so close. We could up playing. You could end up playing Bologna again. Do you know? It's not going to be an easy game, whoever we get, but it depends on the draw, isn't it? If I don't even want to look at it. Let's just forget about it just now. Completely just forget about it. Anyway, right, let's jump back into some of the comments this morning. Nicholson is a joke. Yeah, he is a joke. Imagine your CEO a week before the window shuts getting pushed in Italy. I don't think he was getting pushed. I mean, the picture is there. Let me just, where is it again? Nicholson, get his ugly mush up. He wasn't getting pushed. I mean, it was a cuddle. And then Nicholson walked away for the guy. I'm not sticking up for Nicholson. I don't think that he should have been pissed in the first place. But when you're getting the free drink at games, he'll feel deep. It is just, if you're looking for a reason to sack Nicholson, things are just totting up. The guy's an embarrassment. Getting all over social media like that. He's obviously quite jovial about the fact he should have been on the team bus. I don't know why he was walking about. For me, should have been on the team bus straight back to the fact they go back to the hotel for about 5 minutes and then off to the airport. Maybe Nicholson thought, well, I've got an hour before we go to the airport. I don't know. Maybe Nicholson will not tell us because we'll not know what he was doing anyway. Hatate is always slow and gets frustrated so quick. He does as much bad now as we need a good replacement. Yeah, I think that this summer is the telling one. For it looks like Dice Maida and Reo Hatate will be here until the summer, even though I've had them gone most windows now for about 3 windows. If Celtic had got an adequate replacement in for Dice Maida in the summer, it would have been the fact that Dice Maida wouldn't be here. I think he's going to stay to the end of the season to try and make sure that Celtic have a fighting chance. But I think that this will be the last summer for both of them. Two midfielders. Yeah, I was reading about that. It's another loan player. It's a gap. It's a stopgap. I mean, is that what we're really into? Um, I mean, he's allegedly worth 16 million. He's not reached his potential. He's not lived up to the 16 million mark. He looks a bit. I'm going to say it. He looks a bit thin for the SPFL. Don't know if he's not lived up to it for Girona, right? I mean, Girona are in the Europa. People saying why we're not signing players? Well, because they're at the Europa. He's a player that if he's not lived up to it in Girona, why the hell is he going to live up to it in the SPFL? He looks a bit thin for me. But then again, that's modern football players with their wee skinny tight jeans and their skinny wee legs. There's no many that have legs like what James Forrest used to have as a youngster. That's for sure. Jade, Celtic girl Jota's coming up. Super chat. Please feel sorry for me. I'm at work. Catch you all tonight. There we go. You didn't have to give us a super chat though. It's absolutely fantastic that you did. Right, we've got all sorts of gremlins going on this morning. Michael Nicholson's picture is just completely erasing the screen. Hatate's done at Celtic. Hatate couldn't handle the Italian football tactics. No, he couldn't. Morning to Stephen Johnston. I wouldn't play Rio again. He's a missing shut. Hatate needs to go as soon as possible. No longer Celtic calibre. That's a bit slap, isn't it? That's a bit slap. Well done to Jade, like people saying, even though she's at work. He can't hold on to the ball before his red nearly cost us by falling, hoping. Yeah. Hatate give the chance, they give the ref a chance to send him off. He did that. I think Celtic will win next week, but I have to score goals to help Celtic go through to the next round. We're going to have to score at least 3 goals, I reckon, just to keep us safe. Right, that is me done and dusted for this morning because there's all sorts of gremlins in the system. You all know how I feel about Hatate. Yep. It's frustrating at times, but can't help him. Yeah, he can't help himself, can't he? He's just a complete nightmare. I'm just going to jump through these. Bring on the diets. Bring on the diets. We desperately need 2 ball-winning midfielders. We are weak as piss in this area. Yeah, we are. We are that. But anyway, for most of the game at home, still my biggest ever disappointment. 67,000 dreadful performance on the night. It's a long time ago, that one, wasn't it? A long time ago. My only problem with loans is 6 months' time. We're back where we started. Just a sticking plaster. Yeah, it is just a sticking plaster. And unfortunately, that's where we are at the moment with Celtic. There's going to be very little serious players that are going to want to come to Celtic, knowing that the manager will leave in the summer. Celtic haven't sounded anyone out, as we know, as yet, for the appointment in the summer. Michael Nicholson is out getting pissed on a Thursday night and being all jovial with Celtic fans until they ask the question, Michael, who are you going to sign? Fucking no one, you shitebag. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.